Hey everybody, and welcome to Close Up with Jesus. It's me and Kelton here today. It's wonderful.
I'm here for once.
Yeah. Um, we were gonna do that lesson on. Oh, you can't see me. We were gonna do that.
You can't speak English
I
today.
can't speak English. We were gonna do that lesson on Revelation, but we're struggling a little bit with the material, so we're gonna do instead the life of Job. We're going to start in Job chapter 1. But this is what we want to do this today. Kelton suggested the idea, and I really liked it. So that's what we're going to do. Deal with it.
Ryan, you
What?
pointed at the camera and the camera can't see you.
I know I did that. I wouldn't deal with it, and you can see that. Oh, shucks. All right. So like I said, we're going to start in Job chapter 1.
He's going to be doing all the reading. I have a very sore throat, so
So forgive him for not talking too much. But he's here, so this is good. So we'll start in Job chapter 1, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, I think is how you say it, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 girl donkeys, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest in all the men of the east, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Whew. That was verses 1 through 5.
now you see why I'm not reading.
Yeah, there's a lot of words. So in verses 1 through 5, we see Job is perfect and upright with God. He is good.
All of his possessions.
Yeah. And we see that his sons and daughters are sinning against God, and he gets up every morning early and makes burnt offerings for them in the hopes that God doesn't, smite them. So we see here in verse 6, we're going to read from there to verse 12. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And that verse is really cool, because we've talked about that before, where we talked about the story of Satan, and we showed that he is walking amongst the earth now, and going to God, and
Look at what he's doing.
blaspheming the brethren here on earth. And so we see here he does that. So I think that's really cool and interesting.
He stole my French fry.
What? What? Verse 8, And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge around him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So we see that the Lord had a hedge around Job.
A hedge of protection.
Hedge of protection, keeping the devil away from messing with him. And the Lord had to, or not the Lord, Satan had to ask the Lord to remove that hedge so he could even get access to Job. So that's really important to see there, that the Satan couldn't do anything unless God allowed that to happen. And so we are going to go to 13. This is the start of Job's afflictions, which I don't know if I could even handle this. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and there came a messenger unto Job and said, The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys feeding beside them, and the Sabines fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. So 3 different servants came, and we're gonna get a fourth servant now, which is this is the saddest news, I think, out of all of them is what the servant's about to say, I think. Where were you? Sorry, fellas. I didn't keep the cursor where we were. The sheep and thy servants. James with events filled up the camels. 18, there we go. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Then Job arose, and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. So he just lost basically everything he had.
Everything.
All of his fortune, all his wealth, all of his servants.
His children.
Which is that'd be the worst news to me, is just you've lost all your fortune. You go, well, at least I still have my family. And then, boom.
Like, even whenever it says here that he didn't question God, rather he went and worshipped God, like without hesitation, basically. Like, and most of us, even today, even me, right? Like, I just lost one of my dogs, Buddy. Ryan's lost his dog before, Max. And I'm sure both of us were just like, why?
Why?
You know? And didn't instantly go and thank him for the time that we had or anything. Just instantly was asking why.
We were asking why. We were just like, why would you take this away from me? Why would you cause this pain and heartache on me? But Job just goes straight to the Lord and said, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord, which that's really admirable. And there is zero way I could do that, because like the pain of losing my dog, I know would be nothing to losing my child. Those would be like two separate pains.
Buddy was my child.
Fair. But those two separate things, so I know there is no way I could do that. But that's not the end of Job's troubles. No. For we go to chapter 2, and we see, once again, all the sons of God come. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, and a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou moved me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So right there, Satan's saying that a man, when faced with the choice of death or giving up everything he has, will give up everything he has. But if you touch his health, he is going to fail and curse you in sin.
And also imagine having that type of testimony that God even says that he is a perfect and upright man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that just goes to show how strong-willed and how important he is to God.
And then we see Satan act upon it in verse 7. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown, which is the forehead. And he took him a post shard to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. So right there, he grabs a post shard to scrape the boils, because that's the only form of relief he can get from the boils, because they are just appearing like you couldn't walk on the boils without, like, that would hurt.
I mean,
I'd imagine.
And like with how covered you were, you had to lay down, but even laying down hurt because you had boils.
Yeah,
there too.
I think in the picture we had, he's not wearing clothes, guys. He is has a sheet over him to conceal himself because of the boils that
and
would
even
have ravaged
that
his body.
is painful.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure scraping off the boils, they would also. It's about to say it in one of these verses, or you might have already said it, but. Yeah, sat down among the ashes. That put ashes in it to try to help it.
trying to help and just stop it, because that's gonna hurt Like, I know just being sick hurts, and I just
Shoot,
I'm
my
just trying
throat
to
hurts right
imagine.
now. Feels like I
Yeah.
got boils in my throat.
And then we see verse 8, or not, sorry, not 8, 9. Verse 9. When said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. So his wife comes to him and
What a
is like,
lovely wife.
I know, for real. She says, God has done all these things to you. Do you not have any pride? You have no integrity. Curse him and just die.
The wife blames God where Job doesn't do anything but praise God.
Mm-hmm. He praises God for what he still has. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speak. What shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all of this did not Job sin with his lips. So there we see he goes, Girl, you acting a fool.
He said you just like all the other women, aren't you?
You acting like all the other women. Stop it. You're speaking foolish things.
I didn't marry you for this.
The Lord the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away, as he said in the last chapter. In this one, he's saying, the Lord gives me blessings. The Lord can take them away. He's still God. It doesn't matter.
I also like that in this verse it makes a very clear distinction that Job did not sin with his lips. Didn't say that he has never sinned at all or anything. It was saying that in that moment he didn't sin with his lips.
And I'm not going to read the rest of the chapter because after that it kind of spills into the rest of it. But in the rest of the chapter, Job's friends come to him and say close to the same thing as his wife, but not quite as short. It takes up several chapters of this back and forth between his friends,
It's just
Job,
a bunch of
and
back
God.
and forth banter.
Because his friends are like, dude, you've lost everything. Essentially, what his wife said, curse God and die.
That's like being reminded of the worst possible thing imaginable every day.
Hey, dude, yeah, we know you're in pain, but God killed your kids. Just reminding you there.
You might as well kill
and
yourself,
you
you
should just
know?
die, man.
Yeah, yeah. It
And I'm
sucks.
pretty sure that there is somewhere between Job 2 and Job 42, one of the friends he comes to see is actually jealous of Job, or was jealous of Job, and is trying to stomp him down during this moment, which is not fun to hear.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
especially in today's society. But this was biblical times.
And we see all that, all of these hardships on Job and how he responds to each of it. And you see several chapters of Job responding to his friends and talking to God and then responding to God.
It's kind of like a bunch of. At first, they seem like poems, which I'm pretty sure the very first in chapter 3 is a poem. But they continue on because it's talking about Job, how he feels, and he wants to die, but he's not. He's not.
Yeah, it is set up to be it does look like it's set up to be like a poem almost.
And I mean, I'm sure Job may have wanted to die, but he didn't want to disgrace God, is what I'm kind of trying to get at, I feel like.
We see that in the end, God comes back to him and blesses Job. Excuse me, sorry. And we see in verse 12 of chapter 42. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 girl donkeys. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he called the name of the first Jemiah, person's name, and the name of the second person's name, and the name of the third person's name. And in the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died, being old and full of days. Also, I didn't realize that earlier when I read it by myself, but it says he gave them inheritance among their brethren. Talking about the daughters. That was not common. It was very uncommon to give inheritance to your daughters back in the day, because the daughters, once they got married, were no longer part of your household. They were part of
married.
their
They had that family.
husband's household. Yeah. So the fact he did that, really cool. Shows Job is just he's fair to all his children. He is just. That's the word, just. And we see that he got, is it double? I don't want to say double.
10 times. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we can go back and do the quick calculation
That's
of.
where I'm going. Yeah, it's double. It was double the amount. He had 7,000 sheep, and now he has 14,000 sheep. He had 3,000 camels, now he has 6,000 camels. He had 500 oxen, now he has 1,000 oxen, and now he has 1,000 girl donkeys.
So, like, even with children,
Female donkeys.
he has double the children now.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. In heaven,
Oh,
he
yeah.
has
Yeah.
double the
Yeah,
children.
he does. He does.
So, if God had given him 20 children back, then, like, on earth, 20 children on earth, that would mean he would have 30 in heaven.
Yeah. Wow. I did not.
Brother Ray's talked
I
about
didn't
that
think
before.
of that. Wow.
Yeah, that's something that I caught on to when Brother Ray was talking about it before,
Yeah.
that God gave him back double of everything.
And that's just a testament to show if you are faithful to the Lord, He is going to bless you. It may not be immediate; it might take some time, but He is going to. But you need to remain faithful for that to happen.
Just like how, like, in church, we're supposed, if you're making money and stuff, you're supposed to give 10% of what you make to the church at the offering. So, like, Brother Ray tells a little story where Richmond was giving, or he got money, like $25.
He mowed a lawn and he got $25.
And he was given a 20 and a 5. Well, 10% of 25 is $2.50. He didn't have $2.50, so he put a 5 in and left it at that. Whereas he could have gotten the $2.50 from his uncle,
Yeah, Brother
Robbie, but he didn't. He just put the 5 in and was fine with it. Later on, like probably that week or 2 weeks later, he was getting asked to do so many different jobs, so God was giving back to him what he had given back to the church.
He was asked to dog sit and to mow
Other people's
and it
lawns.
was $50 total.
Yep.
Which was way more than what he got, or he would have made otherwise. And also on top of that, he got to show his testimony to his uncle to show money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The Lord is what matters, and I love when he talks about that. Brother Ray's got so many stories that are just really, really good.
Some of them are very repetitive, which is why we remember all of them.
It's funny. Man,
I got a joke about this, though.
he does.
So, Satan took just about everything from Job, right? Everything. The kids, his money, his animals, like his
Everything.
health.
Yeah, everything.
Everything but his wife. Like, Satan... I forget the comedian's name, but he does it so well. He goes... Say Ryan's the demon, and he asks, and I'm Satan, and he comes over to me asking, so, you know,
right.
Job still has the wife, right? I know, it's pretty funny, right? Like, how
Like, it's
bad
just-
of a wife do you have to be for Satan not
Pretty bad.
to leave you there with you?
Hey, dude.
When he's trying to, like, ruin your life, he leaves the wife.
He just left her, but I think God like knew that, and so he forced Satan to leave the wife. But also Satan used the
And-
wife, but now
yeah.
he gets to use him to give Job more children.
And another thing that, well, I mean, if it was double, he would have had, yeah. So never mind, that didn't work, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's that's it for us. We hope you all enjoyed our lesson, and if you have questions about the Bible, please put them so we can find them, so we can answer them, so we can have more videos.
I'm going to do something cheesy. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, please. YouTube actually did a big old first content strike on one of the videos of the church last Sunday.
I understand why.
Yeah, but it's still like
Because but
the church
don't
could do. The church is allowed to do that.
Yeah.
The church was showing a movie.
it wasn't
and the church
because
is
it was a
allowed to show
movie. It was because what was being shown
Yeah,
in the
that's
movie.
it was it was Passion of the Christ, and it was the scenes in which the Lord is going to be crucified. Regardless,
Well, it was him being beaten. not
him
the
being beaten. Yeah, he
crucifixion,
didn't get the crucifixion that part, but it was him being beaten before he was crucified. Either way, they struck us. So if we can get more subscribers, they're less likely to do that. I feel like the more we have, the less likely they are to be like, oh crap, we can't delete the channel. There's too many people watching it. It's too much ad revenue for us. We can't stop the good word of the Lord. I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna try to delete our
I
channel.
will
for
think
that.
if we get 4, they'll delete it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's within a 90-day period. If there's 4, they delete it. So please like and subscribe. Post your comment your questions so we can answer them, and just have a great week. We will see you all Tuesday. We love you all.